You think you're in control of your choices, right? But what if I told you every decision you've ever made wasn't really yours? Stay till the end, because by the time this video finishes, you'll question even the choice to watch it. Her smile. She nods at all the right moments, plays her part perfectly, while her mind wanders to all the conversations you'll never have. You think you're in control of your life, right? Every decision you make, what to eat, what to watch, who to trust, you feel it's yours. But what if I told you almost none of it is? What if the choices you're proud of, the ones you think define you, were actually made by something invisible inside your brain, long before you even realized it? By the time this video ends, you'll question even the simplest things, the reason you got out of bed this morning, why you picked that shirt, why you laughed at that joke, why you keep scrolling your phone. The truth is more unsettling than you can imagine, and once you see it, you might never think of choice the same way again. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the hidden psychology behind every decision you make, from emotions hijacking your mind, to invisible biases shaping your thoughts, to chemicals in your brain controlling your cravings. You're about to see the blueprint behind your life, and by the end, you'll wonder, are you really in control, or is control just an illusion? You wake up in the morning, and before you even realize it, your hand reaches out to check your phone. Did you decide that, or did it just happen? Most people believe every choice they make is theirs. You think you're choosing what to wear, what to eat, but science tells a completely different story. The shocking truth is that your brain often decides before you even know a decision has been made. Imagine this: you're in a lab, hooked up to a machine that scans your brain activity. A researcher asks you to press a button with your left hand or your right hand, whichever you feel like. You wait a second, think about it, and then press the button. But here's the twist: the machine already predicted which hand you would choose, seconds before you consciously made the move. That means the choice was made inside your brain before you ever felt in control. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this isn't a theory, it's a proven experiment, and it changes everything about how we see our lives. Because if your brain is running on autopilot before you even decide, then how much of your life is truly free will? You say yes to a friend's invitation, you pick a snack from the fridge, you decide to scroll one more video before sleeping. You feel like you're choosing. But what if that feeling itself is just an illusion? Your brain giving you a fake sense of control after the choice was already made. That's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Think about the last time you tried to resist something: a piece of chocolate, a text you wanted to send, or a purchase you didn't need. You probably thought it was willpower versus temptation. But deep inside, the decision was brewing in your subconscious long before you could even argue with yourself. And once the brain has already leaned towards something, your decision is basically just a performance. You're acting out what your mind already set in motion. This is why habits are so powerful. You don't think about brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, or unlocking your phone. Your brain has already decided, and you're just the last one to know. Even when you believe you're making big, life-changing decisions, choosing a career, a partner, a path, it's often shaped by invisible wiring in your brain, past experiences, and unconscious patterns. The freedom you feel is real only in your perception, not in reality. And here's the creepiest part: your brain doesn't even tell you the truth about your decisions. It creates a story afterward to make you feel comfortable. You justify, you explain, you say, I did this because, but maybe you're just inventing reasons for something that was never really your choice. What if right now even the decision to keep watching this video wasn't yours? What if your brain locked it in seconds ago, and you're only catching up to it now? The illusion of free will is one of the most unsettling truths in psychology, and once you realize it, you start questioning everything. Do you control your choices, or do your choices control you? Maybe the real question is, do you even have a choice at all? You walk into a supermarket, thinking you're about to make your own choices. You believe you're deciding which cereal, which drink, which snack you'll buy. But what if I told you that from the second you step inside, you're being played? Every light, every color, every smell, every sound is designed to push you toward choices you think are yours, but actually aren't. Look around. The music in the background? Not random. If it's slow, you'll walk slower, spend more time inside and end up buying more. If it's upbeat, you'll rush, grab things quickly, and still end up buying more. That smell of freshly baked bread near the entrance, it's not there by chance. It's a psychological trap. It activates your hunger, and suddenly everything looks more appealing. Even if you didn't plan to shop for food, you think you're deciding, but the environment already whispered in your ear what to do. And it doesn't stop at supermarkets. Social influence works in exactly the same way. Think about the last time you laughed at a joke that wasn't even that funny, just because everyone around you was laughing. Or when you clapped at the end of a performance, even though you weren't sure it was that good. That's your brain trying to blend in, avoid rejection, and follow the crowd. It's survival mode disguised as choice. Psychologists call it social proof. If you see people doing something, your brain assumes it must be right, and you follow along without even realizing. Ads use this every day. Everyone is buying this, best-selling, most popular choice, and suddenly you feel pulled toward it, not because you need it, but because your brain is wired to believe the crowd can't be wrong. Even tiny invisible cues guide your behavior. Colors on a website button can make you more likely to click. The height of a price tag can make a product feel cheaper. A small phrase like limited time or only 2 left can hijack your brain into making a decision instantly. You're not thinking carefully, you're being nudged. You think you're in charge, but you're being steered like a passenger in your own mind. It's the same with people. The way someone frames a question can change your answer completely. Ask someone, "Do you want dessert?" and they might say no. Ask instead, "Would you like chocolate cake or ice cream?" Suddenly they're choosing between 2 desserts, instead of deciding whether to have one at all. It feels like freedom, but it's just clever framing. And here's the scariest part. Most of the time you don't even notice these influences. You defend your choices. You say, "I bought this because I liked it," or "I laughed because it was funny," or "I clicked because I wanted to." But the truth is, the environment and the people around you shaped that decision long before you convinced yourself it was yours. So next time you say, "I'm choosing this," stop for a second. Ask yourself, is this really me deciding? Or am I just following an invisible trail laid out for me? Because if hidden influences are everywhere, maybe the freedom you feel is nothing more than a carefully designed illusion. Picture this. You're in a store, holding 2 options in your hand. One is cheaper, practical, and makes complete sense. The other is a little more expensive, maybe even unnecessary, but something about it just feels right. You already know what happens next. Logic loses, emotion wins, and later you'll try to justify it with some excuse. It was a good deal, or I deserved it, when in reality your feelings made the decision long before your thoughts caught up. This is the power of emotional hijacking. You think your brain works like a judge, carefully weighing pros and cons before making a rational choice, but most of the time it works more like a gambler, swayed by excitement, fear, or desire in the heat of the moment. The emotional part of your brain, deep, primal, fast, often hijacks the steering wheel, leaving the logical part scrambling to explain what just happened. Think about fear for a second. You're walking alone at night, you hear footsteps behind you, and without even thinking, your heart races, your pace quickens, and you're already scanning for danger. Did you decide to feel fear? No, fear decided for you. Your body prepared for action before your conscious mind even processed the sound. In the same way, anger makes you say things you regret. Sadness makes you eat when you're not hungry. Excitement makes you buy things you don't need. Emotion pulls the trigger, and reason comes afterward to clean up the mess. Advertisers know this better than anyone. They don't sell you a car, they sell you the feeling of freedom, status, or adventure that comes with it. They don't sell you food, they sell you comfort, joy, and nostalgia. They don't sell you clothes, they sell you confidence, attraction, and belonging. You're not buying objects, you're buying emotions, and every time you choose based on a feeling, you tell yourself it was logical, when in truth, the emotional brain made the choice in seconds. Even relationships are built this way. Ever met someone and said, "I don't know why, but I just like them"? That instant click isn't rational. It's emotional chemistry, driven by instincts, hormones, and unconscious cues. Your brain is scanning faces, tones of voice, even body language, and making emotional judgments you don't even notice. By the time you think, "I choose to trust this person," the choice was already locked in. The most dangerous part is how emotions can override logic completely. In moments of passion or stress, people gamble away money, quit jobs impulsively, or make life-changing promises they can't keep. Later they look back and wonder, what was I thinking? The answer is simple: you weren't thinking, you were feeling. And feelings don't ask for permission before they take control. So the next time you find yourself making a choice, pause for a second. Ask, is this my logic talking, or my emotions driving? Because if you don't stop to question it, chances are your emotions have already hijacked the decision, and you're just the passenger pretending to steer. You probably believe you see the world clearly, that your choices are based on facts and reality. But the truth is, your brain is full of shortcuts, little tricks it uses to make decisions faster. Psychologists call them cognitive biases. They're mental glitches, invisible distortions that bend your judgment without you ever realizing it. And the scariest part, they don't just shape small choices, they control some of the biggest decisions of your life. Take the confirmation bias, for example. Imagine you believe a certain diet works. You'll notice every article, every video, every person who supports that belief, and you'll ignore the evidence that says otherwise. Your brain isn't searching for truth, it's searching for comfort, for validation. You're not choosing the belief, the bias is choosing it for you. Or think about the anchoring effect. A store shows you a jacket with a huge price tag, $300. You think that's way too expensive. Then right next to it, another jacket is marked at $150. Suddenly it feels like a bargain, and you buy. But here's the trick. If they had shown you the $150 jacket first, you might have walked away. The first number anchored your mind, setting the stage for how you'd judge everything else. Did you choose to buy, or did the anchor choose for you? And then there's the availability bias. When you hear about a plane crash on the news, suddenly flying feels dangerous, even though statistically it's safer than driving. Why? Because your brain gives more weight to vivid, recent information, not accurate information. The images and stories stick, so your choices tilt toward fear, not logic. Again, you feel like you're deciding, but the bias is pulling strings in the background. One of the sneakiest biases is the status quo bias, the tendency to stick with what you already know. You stay in jobs you don't love, relationships that don't fulfill you, habits that don't serve you, all because your brain whispers, better safe than sorry. The familiar feels safe, even if it's not the best, and so you choose to stay, but maybe that choice was never really yours. These biases stack up every single day. They affect how you spend money, who you trust, what you believe, and even how you see yourself. And the wildest part is, you almost never notice them. You just defend your decisions as if they were rational. You tell yourself, I bought this because it was smart, or I believed this because it made sense. But deep down you're playing a game with loaded dice, and your brain is the dealer. It's unsettling, isn't it? The idea that your mind, the very tool you rely on for every choice, is wired with shortcuts that distort the truth. But maybe that's the point. Your brain doesn't care about perfect decisions, it cares about fast ones. Survival over accuracy, comfort over logic. And if you don't stop to question it, you'll keep walking through life, thinking you're in control, when really your biases are the ones steering you. So next time you make a decision, pause and ask, did I truly choose this, or did my brain's hidden biases choose it for me? Imagine this, you pick up your phone just to check one notification, and suddenly 30 minutes are gone. You didn't plan it, you didn't mean to, but somehow you were pulled into a loop you couldn't escape. That loop has a name, dopamine. It's the brain's reward chemical, and it's one of the strongest forces driving your choices. Every time you get a like, a message, a win in a game, or even a bite of your favorite food, dopamine lights up your brain like fireworks. And in that moment, your mind learns something dangerous. Do this again. Dopamine doesn't care about what's good for you. It only cares about what feels good right now. That's why you crave junk food when you know you should eat healthy. Why you scroll late into the night when you know you should sleep. Why you chase instant gratification, even if it ruins your long-term goals. It's not weakness, it's biology. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And dopamine is the little push that makes sure you obey. Think about gambling for a second. Casinos don't just let you win money, they let you almost win. Those near misses, those flashing lights, that suspense of not knowing what will happen next. That's the perfect recipe for a dopamine storm. It's not the jackpot that hooks you, it's the anticipation. And the same design is everywhere now. Social media feeds refresh with a pull to refresh motion, like a slot machine. You don't know what's coming, a funny video, a sad story, a new message, but the uncertainty keeps your brain begging for more. Even habits you don't notice are dopamine driven. That sip of coffee in the morning, your brain remembers the boost. That little buzz of checking your email, dopamine. That craving to binge watch one more episode even though it's past midnight, pure dopamine manipulation. You're not simply deciding, you're following a trail of rewards your brain has trained itself to expect. And here's the trap. The more you chase dopamine, the less satisfied you feel. Your brain builds tolerance. What once gave you a rush barely excites you anymore. One cookie turns into 3, one episode into a whole season, one scroll into endless scroll. You're stuck in a cycle of wanting more, but feeling less. And while you think you're choosing to keep going, it's really dopamine pulling you deeper into the loop. The scariest part, entire industries are built on this trap. Food companies design flavors to hit your dopamine receptors just right. Apps use notifications to trigger little bursts of anticipation. Streaming platforms autoplay the next episode before you can even think. You're not just a customer, You're a subject in the biggest psychological experiment in history, and the experiment is working. So the next time you tell yourself just one more, pause and ask, who's really making that choice? Is it you, or is it the chemical reward system inside your brain, trained by years of invisible conditioning? Because when dopamine is in control, your freedom isn't gone, it just feels like it is. So after all this, here's the question that will haunt you. Do you really make your choices, or are you just following a path your brain has already set for you? Every decision, every impulse, every craving, every justification, it's all a mix of hidden influences, emotions, biases, and chemical rewards. You feel in control, but maybe that's just the illusion your brain created to keep you comfortable. The real power comes when you notice, when you pause, when you question, when you start seeing the invisible forces shaping your life. That's when you regain a tiny bit of freedom in a world designed to pull you along. And it starts with awareness. If this video made you question even the smallest choices in your life, imagine what could happen if you actually started observing them, understanding them, and slowly taking back control. So here's what I want you to do next. Hit that like button if your mind just got blown. Share this video with someone who you think believes they're in control, and comment below with the one choice you realized wasn't really yours. Let's see who's really driving the car here, because the truth is, the journey only starts when you notice the invisible hand guiding your every move.